Oh shit, testing, testing. Is this thing... Hey! It's nice to or listening to you, of course.
Which so people can hear you now. Okay, there we go.
Alright. Alright, hey everybody.
Hi
It's nice to
everybody.
it's nice to meet slash listen to all of you.
Yeah. Hang on. No one. Oh, hi. Hello, Crow. Crow is here. My friend
Oh,
Crow.
hello.
Yeah.
Hello, Crow.
I advertised. I advertised the stream on Tumblr and
Oh, yeah.
what was the name again? How Twitter. Yeah, Twitter.
Like Twitter, Tumblr, and also the other Forbidden Tea, TikTok, I believe. Is
Oh
that
no
what
no no!
everybody
I don't
calls?
have a TikTok. Oh hey, who is this? The one dormant
Oh.
draws.
Yeah. Oh, hello. Oh, yeah, that's a... Yeah, that's B. It's a... They're one of the... They're one of the, more known, like, artists on, like, the Amphibia Twitter and Tumblr, if I can recall.
Yeah, hang on. That name sounds
Oh, hey,
familiar.
hey, B.
um yeah, hang on. Since this stream is like only just like 2 minutes in, let me just advertise this on my on Discord. Hang on.
Yeah, because we are about to celebrate the ending of a show in like a few days, and it's going to be a very emotional and swell time altogether.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
It's like we just have like a few more days, and that's crazy. And I don't know, like I'm in this like weird state where, you know, I have to like deal with, oh, okay, so I have, you know, I have some finals for my campus. It makes sense. But then I also have to go with the fact that apparently one more episode, and then boop, we're all good to go.
Yeah. Damn it. Yeah. Okay, I've advertised it on Discord. Only so I guess we should start with some formalities. So I guess I should go first. Hi, I'm Hazel Cooper. I go by they them pronouns and actually I also go by its pronouns now for a couple of friends, but I'm still pretty new to it. You know, gender is a fucky. But yeah, I go by Hazel Leggy on Twitter and Drifter Soda on Tumblr. Um yeah. So right now I am doing this insane lyric stuck I've been planning in my head for so long, and I'm almost done. I'm in the long shot now actually. Um
Oh yeah,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's
And
isn't like Lyricstuck one of those like things where it's like art but with like lyrics stuck to them?
yeah, yeah, they're basically lyric comics, but it's like I want to see a lyric stuck. Uh, and what about you, Bork? Who are you?
Oh, my name is borkthemork. I am an analysis person on our good old Tumblr. I don't have a Twitter by any means, but I am very much you know, a person involved with like analysis for the fandom, and also I do fanfics as well. So yeah, that's my formality.
Yeah. You can catch Bork on Bork the Mork on Tumblr, but then I don't actually know how you got in this stream without knowing that. So yeah.
It's like, yeah, just like look up Bork the Mork on like Tumblr, and you'll find me.
In the AO3.
The AO3, and
AO3.
also, you know, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So okay. I also run a podcast. I guess I guess that's kind of just a minor thing. So before I guess we get started with I guess this mini Q&A for like each of us, I heard about Dracula Daily is a thing.
Yeah. Yes, Dracula Daily is a thing. I've been obsessed with it for a few days. And yeah, there's no going back. I am now part of a fandom of a 125-year-old literature novel, and also the Frog Show. It is what it
And the
is.
Frog Show. Yeah. Uh and okay, I'm a big vampire fan. So I was really glad that Tumblr got into the whole um Dracula scene because and Dracula, the man Dracula.
It's like Dracula with like a capital D, and also his like little lad Jonathan Harker, aka like every single character is some type of how do you I guess you could say blurbo in some way. It's just a little interesting spectacle. I don't know how big it's gonna become, but I'm my main mission right now as like a person who apparently does a lot of like frog show things. I want to convert a lot of people through osmosis through all of my reblogs of like Dracula Daily in general. I want all of you to get involved with the Dracula mania as much as like you can possibly can.
So true. Uh okay, hang on. Let me get my actual document because as you all
Yeah,
know
no worries.
that I am not great at talking, so I have to script just every single thing ever. Um
Yeah, no worries
so
about that.
yeah. Uh hang on, where was it? I had a whole section in this document for talking about Dracula Daily. Because like
You know,
I was a big Jekyll and Hyde fan, except like every adaptation was nothing like the books.
I think it's because there is a romanticism to Dracula, I believe. Like if you look at like all of like the different movies, you don't really like get like a full book adaptation of it. I mean, there are some like parts that can be pretty good, but you don't really get the parts where Jonathan Harker eats paprika and dies.
He
Like you don't
what?
really get like paprika. The Hungarian dish where he just
Oh,
like dies from being so thirsty.
paprika, not the spice. Okay, because I don't actually read Dracula Daily. I listen to it because of that play that hang on, what was the name of that? Hang on, I'm opening up
Was it
Spotify.
the podcast, the radio play?
Yeah, the radio play. It's called. Let me get it.
I think
Cryptic
I've listened to it
Canticles
like before.
presents Dracula. That's the one.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that one's actually a really good one. And since it's been going on for like this year, you can like update it. You can basically like get multiple rereads. Like you don't have to like really binge it yet because it kind of like uploads day by day. And like because of that, like I'm like it's also another method for me to be like, hey, like I tell my partner, hey, I know you're like really into like auditory stuff, so take this podcast, like be part of the Dracula fandom with me.
Yes, join us. Join us. Join us.
Join us with the himbos. Join all of us with our critical analysis over this book. And also, I'm like looking in the chat right now, and yes, there is some Homestuck in here. Do be warned, I guess.
Well, not really. It's more like just the concept of I guess just the whole lyric comic thing, but most of the time it's just this is just purely Amphibia. And right now I'm in the part where all of Marcy's sad scenes plus something I made up. I guess we can hang on, where is that? Oh, my mouse is failing on me. Okay. So when did you join the Amphibia fandom?
Oh yeah, that was actually all right, so there was like this one article I think back in 2018 that talked about two shows being greenlit by Disney TV Animation. And at that point, I was still in the Steven Universe fandom, and I was still, I think, I don't remember when Steven Universe like finished, but it was at some peak during one of the hiatuses, and I was like listening in, I was like reading some of the articles, and one of them talked about two shows. One is The Owl House by Dan Terrace, and the second would be Amphibia by Matt Browley. And at that point in time, I wasn't really intrigued by these types of shows. Like, I was like mainly fixated on Steven Universe at that point in time. Mainly like trying to analyze the show and also just how do you say it? Not really like committing to the fandom at that point, but just talking to friends, seeing how they interpret the episodes, and what I noticed with the greenlit show of Amphibia was that they were talking about this show having representation for an actual type protagonist, and as someone who is Filipino, who's like Southeast Asian, I'm always like the type of person who's looking out for shows that have different forms of Asian representation. So when I noticed that, hey, we were gonna get like Asian representation in some form, I was like, oh sweet, all right, yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on this project, see what happens, and at first, like, I was part of the season one bomb format since Amphibia was in the bomb format at that point. Like, it wasn't weekly; it was just one episode after the other for like 2 or so weeks, and I was having a pretty good time. And at some point, I think I dropped off in the mid of season two's season 2A hiatus, and I recently got back up because of the fact that True Colors hit, the True Colors controversy hit, and since I dropped off at the time and I wasn't able to like get uh, binge most of it. I was really intrigued. It's like, what type of controversy is going on with a show that I supposedly thought was yeah, I can see like the plot elements, but also some, like I always saw it as the Funky Frog show, and I was like, what type of weird batshit stuff is happening right now that led to this massive controversy that you never really see with something like Big City Greens, and I binged through it. I binged through like season 2B, and when True Colors hit me, I'm part of the fandom. Like, I got back into the fandom full force like a truck, and it's like, yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, yeah, like, that's actually wow, because like just because you've told me before that you were in the fandom pre season two, right? Um, and I just never really realized it was TC that was a turning point for you, which I
yeah,
guess was
like,
a lot for other people. Wait, a similar thing. I actually got into Amphibia after TC aired. It was around,
oh,
let's see, no, not October. That's when I had my D&D sessions. November, I think, or December. Yeah, and that was already
oh,
well after TC aired. Cause okay, so funny story. I cause around October, is when my D&D session started, I think, or September. It was around that. And I based my character off of fan art I saw of Marcy.
Oh. Like the fan art was bombing at that time. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And that was even before I watched Amphibia. I was like, I don't know who this is, but I'm basing off my entire presumptions of who this character is based off fan art. And oh, hang on. Oh, hang on. I have to take this.
Yeah, no worries. But like, yeah. It's always like really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
it is.
fanon, like you basically like when you saw the fandom through osmosis. You had no clue what was happening, but it's like you saw this Marcy person and was like, okay, I'm taking them. They're mine now.
Yes.
They're mine now. It's like no one take it.
Oh,
It's
right,
like,
hang on. I almost forgot. When in doubt, I don't actually. Here's the thing: is I don't actually know how to do colors, so I cheat by using a gradient map to help harmonize all the colors for me. Thank you, Clip Studio Paint.
looks really good so far. Like I really do like the amount of fulls like going on with the transition between like that one scene with Marcy being sad as hell, and then you
Sad
also
as
have like the library.
yeah, sad as fuck. Um, hang on. Which do I want? Yeah. After, because Clip Studio Paint, I've been drawing mostly in Paint Tool Sci for pretty much my whole life. And Clip Studio Paint I only got like after I turned 19, and or was it 18? I can't remember. And with programs like these and Photoshop, it was a lot confusing, but now I'm like, okay, I actually know how some of these programs work. And like I know how to use all the masking features, etc., and all that. And how to import Clip Studio Paint models in here, and it's great. Clip Studio is just awesome. And I have like this ruler in case I want to do any isometric designs. And like as a background designer, as as a background designer, this has been immensely great for me in working. And ever since Clip Studio Paint allowed like to import Photoshop brushes, I went crazy and downloaded a bunch of from people I knew. Yeah, I have like a shit ton of brushes just here. I'm surprised Clip Studio Paint hasn't given up on me based off just how insanely crazy this is. Anyway, what I'm saying is, if I ever want to change my mind on what gradient map I want to use, I can just click this and go back and just like change it like that if I wanted to. Oh, this is actually pretty nice. I might keep this.
Yeah, it looks actually really good. It makes me really curious about like your Lyricstuck, because I've only seen like a few panels, and I'm actually really curious on how like all of it intertwines, because I've only seen like one bit, and I want to
Yeah.
know. I really want to know like how it all like bunches up together. I want to see those lyrics being stuck. I don't know.
Yeah, so because I mostly want to keep this as a surprise, because this is the first one that I was thinking of. The
Oh,
second
okay.
one is gonna be a lot longer. It's gonna take me a couple months to actually finish it. And it's because, okay, I'm not an Imagine Dragons fan, but there's this one song that fits Amphibia really well, and the Calamity Trio, and I'm planning to do that. Um because I've had it in my playing in my head even before season 3 dropped, and I had like it was pretty close to how I thought Amphibia was ending. And I'm actually really glad Amphibia is ending what is it, like 3 days from now, because then I can start that lyric stuck with like the full picture of what's gonna happen.
Oh
So like
yeah, definitely.
yeah. Anyway, the song was Amsterdam by Imagine Dragons.
That I've been doing, and also like stuff that I've been like doing on the side currently. Like I'm waiting for the show to like fully finish so I can like put in all of my thoughts regarding like how I get 1 point from Marcy Wu here to then Marcy Wu here, But also it's a bit tricky because we also have Marcy Wu's journal coming up in like a few months for November. So anything that I like try to use as like a headcanon or sorts can be dashed immediately with whatever is going to be said in that journal, and I'm like, okay, like at least I was like, I'm ready for it.
Yeah. Oh no, what did I do? Okay. Speaking of, cause like I have ideas of how Amphibia ends, but the one thing I want the most is I want it to break my heart. I want it. I want it shattered into like a million pieces. I don't care how it ends. I just want it to like hurt really bad.
I think it'll hurt in like multiple ways. Um, like I am so ready to be emotionally hurt, but also I don't like I'm scared of the implications of the 48-minute episode because I have to think of my boy Sprig now and like damn it, I don't want my boy to go. I don't want my boy to get hurt. It's like what are they gonna do to my boy?
Your
Like what is Sprig
boy.
gonna do?
If
He's just a tiny man.
he's just a tiny guy, a little fella. Honestly, if they ever okay, 100% if they ever separate Anne and Sprig, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I don't
Like,
want them to separate. Like that's like the scariest part because it seems probable with like the little mentions that they had in uh wait the 30 minutes. Let me look because I do have all of the episodes in 180p, and I do know that I have all in. So give me a minute to get it because I think yeah, Amphibia's all in is approximately to the estimated 48 minutes in length.
ooh.
It's like 48 minutes. Like all in is 48 minutes, and I think what you were looking for was the hardest thing, which is 29 minutes. It's like, yep, it's 48. It was 48 minutes. Like the entire well, the finale. If you add the beginning of the end, all in, and then the hardest thing, all of it accumulates into like an hour special.
It's basically a movie.
It is a movie, and I'm
Yeah.
terrified.
Yeah.
Like we went from here's the introduction to Darcy, here is here is the fight of Darcy, here's the end of Darcy, and now here's the moon that is about to crash into your world as a life support thing for the core. So we don't have time. We don't have time to breathe. We have to scream, I guess.
Yeah, honestly, that's what I love about Amphibia because I was gonna say this. I said this a lot to a couple of friends and a couple of non-amphibia friends because I have huge brain rot. Is that I really thought the hardest thing would be an aftermath episode where they like try to tie some loose ends together, but no, it's the moon. You're
It's
I love Amphibia.
it's the moon. There is like an interesting post out there that talks about how the moon is a character on like by itself. The moon has always been there in like most of the episodes of Amphibia. Like if you think, oh, the moon's not gonna be there, the moon is there. Just staring at you. And if there is like a really poignant scene, like in Reunion or True Colors, the moon's probably gonna be there in spirit. And even if it's not there, the moon's still there. It's like you can't see it, but like it's looming over us, just waiting to be used, and it's terrifying. And what one of the posts talks about was, since the moon is basically a character by itself, you actually, if you look into the posters for, I believe, season 1, season 2, there is one specifically of like that poster where it's it's the road to Newtopia, and you have all of these characters built in like a triangle of like introduction for like the viewer. Like you have, oh, hello Matilda. All right, you have Anne, you have Sprig, you have Sasha, you have like the mysterious like Marcy and stuff like that. You even have Andreas in like the very far corner of like the poster. And like if you're some person who's into design, you'd be like really curious about it, because why is this character why is he off kilter? Why is he not in the center? Why is he in the right? And then you realize the moon is right there in the left, and apparently if you think of the moon as a character, everything is now balanced. And it's tripping me out a lot.
Oh yeah, cause I've been wondering why. I did see these posts floating around, like, oh my god, the night in the textbook that they're talking about isn't some beast monster. It's literally the night, the actual moon. I hate this show. I hate how clever it is.
It's really interesting because like if like a lot of people during the hiatus, they were talking about, oh, the night is going to be the massive monstrosity, like that machinery that was going on in the middle of the basement. But no, it's the literal moon. Like everyone thought, oh, it's going to be like a really badass name for like a badass villain, but no, it's taken literally. It's the moon. The moon is falling. The night is falling. It's like, okay, thanks, Amphibia.
Thank you, Amphibia.
It's like.
Have you seen that post? I'm pretty sure you've seen this, but like one of the background posters says Moon Jujutsu.
Oh yeah, the moon jujutsu one. Like I keep thinking about it because like we know that Matt, he has like an outline. He has like this whole scenario is like, hey, here's like the stuff we're gonna do, and like here are all the plot beats. And the fact that they put in moon jitsu and like they knew from the beginning that the moon was gonna play a part, it kind of makes me want to rewatch the show and go, okay, which very subtle thing did they do now? Is it about Loggle? Is it about the moon? Like, how many moonshots do we have? It's like, I want to know. It's like, how many times have I not noticed like some piece of foreshadowing that somehow made it into the final product?
Yeah, me too. You know what foreshadowing I really did not see, but I probably should have because of how much I laughed at this joke for
Which
like ever
one?
since I watched this, which was when Loggle got buff.
Oh, the buff Loggle. It's like, whoa, Loggle. We gotta talk about this, man. I still can't believe that it actually became a thing. Like,
Yeah.
every time, like, It's like every time I think about it, like I get so mad because like it I didn't expect them to actually turn that bit of a joke into foreshadowing. I thought, oh yeah, I was like that's a joke, but no, he actually became buff, and it's like it's still one of like those pieces of foreshadowing that still bamboozled me to this day because they took it. They took the opportunity just to make that callback, and it's too good. Now Buffloggle is one of my favorite characters in like season 3.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about because I had to there's some season 2 episodes I missed. I haven't fully finished yet, but I know the gist of it. Because before um the finale of like beginning of the end was about to air, I binge watched all of season 1, all the episodes I missed. There was there's a really noticeable shift of like the comedy in the very early episodes, which reminds me of like how rough Steven Universe episodes, the very first ones, used to be. And like I love Amphibious comedy now, but like the early episodes can and will always make me laugh. I don't know what's about it, but the Spriggs line delivery of like, "Yo, Loggle, we gotta talk about this
We
man."
gotta talk about this, man. Like I'm coming back, but we're gonna talk about it. Okay, bye bye. It's like that type of delivery. I think when you talked about how there's like a slight difference in delivery and how like they do their comedy, like as like the seasons go on. I did notice that actually. Like there is like a slight shift in how like they did the comedy over the seasons. Um, like I think the best way to describe it from like a writing standpoint, it would be like with season 1, there isn't like really any how do you say it repercussions or any like serious how do you say it serious grounding regarding like the amount of jokes in the show. Like of course there is like people who are rational within the dynamics of of like the show itself, like you have hop pop and stuff like that. But with season 1 you have like this writing that focuses on the idea of like, hey, like how insane can we go with like the logic of our show. So you would have people accusing each other of being very suspicious of like being part of like Suspicion Island, and then you also have different characters who you know who basically go ape shit. Like different characters, like, oh, we're going to kill the grubhog, and then you realize that is connected to Antan or the like dance numbers or like different just like different shenanigans. Like there's no repercussions, there's no like plot stuff going on. Like it's kind of like it kind of approaches as like time goes on, but there's still like this very vibrant atmosphere where like they don't really have to think about the grounding of, hey, we got to think about a war, we got to think about going home. It's all about just letting Anne and the planners relax, and I think that's like very vital to that. And as the seasons went on, you still get to see like that familiar like comedy beats, but you also get to see that they have to like do a lot more grounding in the fact that, hey, like we have to avoid like specific jokes or like specific jokes that go against like specific logic, because we have to make sure to like keep grounded to the fact that we're in a war. There is a robot, or maybe we're on Earth and we can't do that specific stuff right now, or maybe they introduce new stuff like they have like inside jokes about multiple how do you say it multiple human characters, multiple human NPCs. And yeah, like it made a lot of like the seasons very different in how they like relay information, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Um, and I think like using the early episodes, I noticed that some jokes tend to like or some jokes or bits tend to like drag, and like in like not in a bad way. I mean in like when Woggle was mesmerized by the pen and kept clicking it for like a solid
Oh, that one's been one of my
7
favorites. It's like
seconds.
so good.
Yeah.
It's
like
like
a lot of the comedy now is a lot more quick and snappy, and the very early episodes were like, let's linger on him, just going ham on this pen for like
just,
7
just
seconds.
just like go on, just like do it for like 10 seconds. I think like a really good example of something that reminds me a lot of like season 2 Amphibia would be, during the Christmas episode, there were actually two jokes that I found like really funny. One was the very in the Christmas episode where we have the shot of Andreas, and you have one of the newts like trying to give him a gift, and you can tell like it took like they dragged it out just to make it so awkward and hilarious, and I love that part. Like you think like like I thought my stream was lagging when I was watching that episode, but no, it just like kept going and going. And then you also have the I'm and Boon Choi scene,
Anne
where
Boon Choi, I love her.
I'm and Boon Choi.
She's Anne Boon Choi.
It's it's like it's the type of humor that I absolutely love. It's just it has the same zest and how do you say it, batshittery of like season 1 and season 2, and like I still look at those and be like, yeah, this is Amphibia. This is definitely like the Amphibia that I know.
Yeah. And like I know some people don't like season 3B, and like wow, y'all have no taste. Y'all have no taste. Cuz
Season Season 3B is like doing pretty good right now. I'm just like waiting in fear at the moment. It's like
fear.
just a lot of fear. Because like, we have the moon, but also like I really like the comedy of like season 3B. I'm trying to remember like the one scene. Because I do know that there was like a lot more seriousness, so like they didn't really have like enough times. They didn't really like have the time to do that many jokes. But I really love in the finale you get to see like different headlines from the news, like all hope is lost as like a teenage girl gets rammed into like the side of a building.
And then FBI RuPaul comes up with taxpayer dollar speakers playing Blackpink just so a teenage girl could go Super Saiyan one last time
Like
and
I'm
defeat
just
the giant lizard.
it's like I'm just saying, guys, but like if you ever told me that this show would go this type of route, or it went from like a very happy funky frog show to then like beating the shit out of like a massive lizard while RuPaul like plays like K-pop, I don't I would think you're on crack. Like that can't be right. It's like for my frog show, it's more likely than you think.
Yeah. Honestly, this is how I got some of my friends into Amphibia. I was like, I love Amphibia so much. The entire plot is just we have to escape RuPaul or else he will hit the
We have to
slave
escape
button.
RuPaul. Yeah, that is the plot. It's so funny. Like they had to involve RuPaul, and now it just makes the plot of Amphibia even funnier because it goes from all right, so we have like this like funky frogs, and like they're trying to get back home, but first they have to stop. They have to stop like this massive like stalking bot that's like trying to kill them, and after they killed the robot, apparently RuPaul is chasing them. Like how do you explain that to someone without looking insane? It's
Yeah.
like, and RuPaul was there. It's like Keith David was there. It's like Princess and the Frog was there. They're like you had to be there.
Yeah. I think like okay, Amphibia isn't perfect. But if I was ever in charge of like one major thing, like one thing to ever change, I want Keith David to sing an Andrea song. Like,
Oh, that would be so good.
yeah. Honestly, like an amphibian musical, like God, like I guess I mean I know it's because I'm a sucker for villain songs, but wow, I would want like give us the amphibian musical, Disney.
It's like I want that Amphibia musical. Like I know that like Matt is also a musical junkie as well. Like if like we had like this very iconic moment of singing, I think that would make Amphibia perfect in my eyes. Because like I think isn't Keith David the voice actor of like Dr. Facilier from
Yep,
like Princess
he
and the Frog?
definitely is. I know because I've listened to that song like a lot of times. So like when I
It's like
heard
now I'm gonna
Andreas, I said, "Wait, that's Keith David." Like the very first thing like when I watched Amphibia, I was like, "That's Keith David, isn't it?"
it's
Because I
like I'm not
recognize
like
that voice anywhere.
it's like like I didn't even realize it was Keith David at first. As like I was like, oh yeah, this is a massive, very chipper, very creepily chipper kind of man. And you know, I never really questioned it until I went into a stream of Amphibia, and my friends was like, "That's Keith David." It's like Keith David, the guy who played Doctor Facilier. Is like, "Yep, that's Keith David." It's like, oh, oh my god. It's like, and apparently there's like a lot of other celebrities in Amphibia, and I never even noticed until I actually researched them. Like, apparently they actually got the voice actor for Kermit the Frog to play Kermit's alternate Amphibia self in like one episode, and
Wait,
they also got
which one is it? What?
it was Sense and Sensibility, I believe. It was the episode where I think not Loggle. It was Wally. Anne had to go to like Wally's parents and basically like try to help him fight for his like freedom to be you know, to be a vagrant. And you have like this I think this character where, you know, it looks like Kermit and it actually is voiced by someone who does voice Kermit.
How am I just finding out about this?
Yeah, there's like a lot of celebrities in Amphibia. Like I do like I think I don't know if you've seen the article, but yeah, the actor, like one of the children actors, I believe it's Archie Yates from, you know, from Jojo Rabbit. I believe it's a movie. They are one of the tiny little newts found in Newts and Tights. The one who broke his wee little ankle. That's him.
Oh my, oh him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh. Yeah, I know about Jojo Rabbit. I love that movie.
yeah. So you got like that. So you got like one of the boys like playing a nude character on Amphibia, and you also have, if I can remember, there was one other specific actor that does that like I didn't even realize like was playing a character in the show because it was part of like a non-canon episode, which is like the Halloween episode. Um, I forgot his name because he's actually one of the most iconic like Asian actors out there. Um, let me look him up. Let me look him up because I remember him. He voiced like a lot of people, and he also acted a lot in like specific different different like shows. And I need to find it. It's like, let me see, because like I know it is like it's at the tip of my tongue. It's like at the tip of my tongue. Ah, yes. I think it's George Takei.
George Takei?
Yeah, George Takei.
Wait, hang on. I think it's George Takei. Takei?
Oh, is
Okay.
Takei or Takei?
Because
I'm
I'm
gonna.
George Takei. I remember there was like one episode of some show that said that. And I'm George Takei.
And I'm George Takei. Yeah, he's part of Amphibia. He plays the death character
Oh, the
from
Grim Reaper guy.
yeah, the Grim Reaper. Yeah, he plays the Grim Reaper, and yeah, there's also like other there's I do know there's the Abby character. You know, like Lady Olivia's voice actor is an actor for I think a show called the the
A show
the
called
Abbey.
Raymond.
No. I'm trying to remember because like it's like oh man, my amphibia facts are failing me right now. But it's I forgot. Let's see. Cause oh yeah, Michelle Dockery, who plays Lady Mary Crawley in Downton Abbey. I think that's like one of those like really how do you say it London type of shows, like British shows.
I gotta ask
And
my sisters on that because like I know they're like the type of people who would love British shows.
oh yeah, like from what I heard, a lot of people do like Downton Abbey, and one of my friends is recommending me to go watch it. It's like okay, yeah, I'll definitely watch it.
And then I
Like
don't.
we'll see. And then I didn't.
Yeah, like okay, here's the thing. I don't want to be an asshole to people. It's just that when I watch something, I'm like, you know, man, I gotta see. My brain actively works against me. Even if this is a show I know I would like let's say what was that space show on Netflix? I don't know, Love, Death and Robots. I've heard about it. And I'm, yeah, I'll watch it, and
Oh,
then I
love Death
didn't.
and
And like
Robots.
it's in like my forever wait list of like I don't think I'm ever gonna watch this, boys. I'm a lost
Yeah,
cause.
yeah, like I how do you say it? Like I remember like I have a lot of friends who recommend me shows. Like I have Mr. Robot, I finished Arcane. I remember people talked about Downton Abbey. There was also talk about Doctor Who, and I think a few other animes such as Jujutsu Kaisen, if that's
Oh
what
yeah,
it's
that
called.
one. It's very shonen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I have a lot of shows that are recommended to me, and for me, I would be considered as someone who's like pretty neurodivergent, and initiative
I
is
would be really
something that I
surprised
don't.
if you aren't neurodivergent, to be honest, because
It's
you
like
give a lot of the vibe.
I exude a lot of the neurodivergent vibes.
Yeah.
It's like you know what? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's like every time like people like they interact with me, they're like, "Yep, this person's neurodivergent," and it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I didn't find out that I could probably be autistic up until like October. Uh,
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like it takes a while for someone to like have the potential to be like, hey, you have a specific like a lot. You get like the specific vibe, and they're like, huh, not like I don't think that's me, and then you research it, and they're like, huh,
maybe that
it's
is
like
me.
it's like maybe it is you, and now you're kind of just like standing there going, okay, what do I do now?
Oh yeah, cause in the stream I did in Twitch because YouTube was being butt. Like we were saying something about like how did Matt really base Marcy off himself, someone who is like very autistic, and not realize that Marcy, because like Brawley based it off himself, right? And Matt Brawley based Marcy off himself a bit, and didn't know that she might have came off as autistic. Uh, and like you did say something about like how, because like mental health research is still kind of like uncommon and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like definitely uncommon. Like I can go like on a whole lecture about it, actually, because like it's a very interesting thing. Because like it does talk about how there's a reason why a lot of people don't really get their diagnoses, especially with like AFAB people, who like or like people who uh, who were assigned female at birth. Um, because for a lot of people, um, when it comes to like symptoms or like behaviors that are like reported re like
Oh yeah,
psychologists and
it's
stuff like
definitely
that,
a lot different.
yeah, like usually they go with like AMAD people. Like they would always be like AMAD people's like, hey, like we're going to check your symptoms and behaviors, and that becomes the norm because they don't really analyze much with like AFAB people, and so like the AMAB research like became the norm. It's more AMAB leaning is what is the better way of like saying that.
Yeah. And like, okay, coming from someone who like I went to a grade school with like a lot of ND people, but I didn't know what the word was. And like, okay, I'm Filipino, and a lot
Yeah.
of like, and I live in the Philippines. And so like I didn't know, like we had a term for it in here, and it's called like quote unquote special kids. And like I do have some gripes with how it is, because it's like just just say autistic, or like, and because I had a lot of like I had a lot of classmates growing up who were, oh hi, hello, I am also a fellow Filipino. Hello there, Astron the stars. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
And
For all the Filipinos in here, it's our chat now, the Filipino chat.
yeah. And because like I know one of my friends was like diagnosed ADHD later on when I went to like the first year of high school. And I remember thinking like, wow, I sure hang out with my friend a lot who is ADHD, and I sure do relate to a lot of his symptoms. That sure is weird.
Yeah, and then like years later, it's like, oh well, guess I'm autistic. Shit.
Shit, yeah.
It's like, oh man, I remember when. Okay, so with my experience, I'm not like I'm not part of the Philippines. Like I did migrate from the Philippines to California, so like my thing is like a bit different. In some cases, mainly because we don't really have, how do you say, like a special word for it. It's mainly like we kind of go with the phrase like, how do you say it, eccentric, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're a very eccentric kid. You are very hyper. You are very special. You are a very comedic. You're an interesting type of lad, you know? Um, and like with that type of stuff, like you kind of just have this feeling of like, oh, I'm the funny kid. I'm like really funny. Like
The
I may be
jokes.
like really destructive, but
The
I am
Joker.
very, very funny. I
You
am the
is
Joker. I
yeah.
am the Joker of the class now. Like you like, it's like either like you're a very silent kid or you learn to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to. I know I'm very eccentric, so I'm going to like be a massive clown. Which I was both of those things.
Same. I was definitely both.
Yeah, it's like it's really weird because like as like when you're in elementary, when I was in elementary, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to make friends. I didn't have friends. I didn't have like the typical friends. When I was like walking around like trying to find friends, like usually they wouldn't really understand me, and like B said, like I gravitated towards the people who are pretty neurodivergent themselves or had like a specific vibe to them that made me go, yeah, I can trust you. I befriended a
Yeah,
few people.
there's this like very deep kind of trust for like other NB people that won't make fun of your interests, which I gravitated towards, and I think that can ring true for like a lot of like NDs. Which is like, man, I don't understand why I feel comfortable around this person. Like I can just talk about my interests without any fear of judgment. Sure is weird.
Yeah, it's like sure is weird. It's usually with like the LGBT groups or like the really weird groups, like the quote
Yeah.
unquote really weird groups of like the school. Like, oh, like this person is really into creepypastas. Well, guess I'm gonna talk to this person now for like 5 months or so.
Yeah. Uh
It's just like a natural thing. Like you don't even like think about it. You're like, oh, here's a friend, and you walk over to that friend and be like, let. I know you're the similar as me. Let's talk now.
yeah. And yeah, it's very very it's like it's a messy process to like find other people like you and not know what the fuck is wrong with you. And it's
So,
like,
yeah.
yeah, it's like cuz there there aren't a lot of ND people here in the Philippines, and those who do get diagnosed are like very very few. I'm talking like less than 1%, like lower,
Ooh,
like
yeah.
around, yeah. And like, do I want to get diagnosed? But then I have to officially state that in like job applications, and I'm like, they're not gonna hire me if if they find out I'm autistic. So I'm like holding off on getting a diagnosis for now. Big
Oh wait, like it's an that's really curious because like for me, you don't like for I think the USA, you don't have an obligation to write down that you have autism or a
God, I
disability.
wish that was me.
Oh, it's a culture shock. Oh no, I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm like way used to culture shocks. Like, I mean, most of my friends are from the US anyway, so I'm like I readjusted my sleep schedule for a lot of people. um because like because I gravitated toward like making friends and like me and people who were similar to my interests. Most of the time they are not they are not from here. So like I had to learn English pretty quick. I'm self-taught, by the way.
Oh
I
wow, like you're
Yeah.
oh, that's actually really impressive because like with language you have to like have years and years of experience.
Well, like technically it's like learned the grammatically it's learned from K-12, but like to actually speak and learn and like understand and hold a conversation with someone to make it like interesting and make friends, that's like I had to learn most of that through text, and it wasn't only until like 2020 when I had to like learn by like with like a person talking to me through their mouth and me hearing it through their ears, and like
Oh,
I
okay.
had to like figure out how to like actually pronounce some words better. um yeah, thank you. I did learn all of that myself. Because like I did talk about how like the education in the Philippines isn't very great. And I'm very grateful for like because I'm aware of that. I'm privileged. I'm sort of middle class, and but like knowing how to navigate the internet and getting the right kind of information is like a really tricky thing. Uh, on
Yeah.
honestly, I tell myself I'm dumb like just for like jipes and like jokes and stuff, but I'm actually like incredibly smart, and and I know how to learn things on the fly. Like I know how to I learned how to paint just a few months ago, which is where
Oh
I am
yeah.
now for this. Yeah.
Dude, like that's a lot of talent. Like you were able to you said like K-12 and stuff like that, but that's still like very impressive. Like a very impressive like to learn a second language in general. Like in the USA, like we don't really have it's really dumb, but like we don't really have an obligation to learn a second language
Yeah.
compared to like Europe and other places. So a lot of people are, unless you're involved in a group where you speak another language and stuff like that, you mainly speak English, and it's really dumb. It's like I want to learn Spanish, but then like I forget about Spanish because like we don't really are that exposed much to Spanish.
Yeah, I mean, like I can understand some Spanish because Filipino is pretty similar, but it's still definitely really different. Um,
Also, Hazel, apparently Astro is your Astro's friend now.
yes, thank
It's
you.
like
I'm
another
also.
Filipino
Hey,
friend.
what do you have any socials so I can follow you back?
There's like 3 Filipinos in this chat, and also 1 Dominican, which is B. So it's like it's like 3 Filipino and 1 Dominican show.
Yeah. Hang on, what was I trying to say again? Oh, just followed you on Tumblr. Okay, I'll try to I'll try to like do that some.
Yeah, Hazel is really known for, if you know the one comic with Darcy, it's Utopia, like post True Colors, where everything's gone to shit, and you see like the comic is about Darcy just like navigating and walking through the landscape of a broken utopia. That's Hazel's work.
Yeah, I have a lot of like thoughts on like a lot of amphibia art I want to make. By the way, I did that in 3 days while still having COVID.
Holy shit! Oh my god! With COVID? Holy
Yeah.
shit, dude!
I'm
Dude,
insane. I'm in
dude,
shame.
if I worked on a comic for 3 days while with like COVID, I would be like dying. How? Boy, that sounds like an insensitive joke.
No,
Oh
no, 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 it's
no!
not.
Oh
It's not.
shit!
It's definitely not. Like, trust me. Like, I love it when people joke to me and like be mean because I never got that. Everyone's like always very formal with me, and I'm like, no, make jokes about me, please.
It's
I
like
want
time to
people.
bully you. Time to
Yeah,
bully you on
yeah.
Tumblr.
Bully me,
Like, quick, everyone,
please.
bully Hazel on
Yeah.
Tumblr.
Yeah, yeah, make fun of like how easy I am to be attached to like villains. Speaking of I bet Matt Brawley was laughing at us the whole time when we were asking for like shirtless Andreas and his boobs, only to find out
Oh,
like he's a robot.
oh my god. Andreas, I can't believe, like, the moment you said villains, I was like, oh my god, you're gonna talk about Andreas, aren't you? Of course you're gonna talk about Andreas. Yeah, like, okay, like, my journey of, like, being an Andreas fan is, like, really funny, because at first, like, my joking about Andreas, was ironic. It's not ironic anymore, and that's the worst
Yeah.
part. That's the worst part. It doesn't help that the episodes are like, okay, here is Andreas's very angsty backstory. He got divorced, and it's like, okay, thank you. I will now be a fan of him forever.
Yeah. Ooh, like I man, I was like waiting a lot for like Dash and Trash's reaction to this because
Oh,
they've been like
Dashin!
waiting a lot for this episode, and I'm like so happy for them that they're like, yes, the an episode for me. I bet that that's what they were thinking.
Yeah, Dashin has been waiting for like Leaf for so long, for like months on end. Like I think they've gotten involved at like the mid of True Colors, of the True Colors hiatus, and they have been waiting for Leaf for so long. It's insane. Like they've been like, okay, I'm waiting for Leaf. Here's my fan cam of Leaf. Here's more fan art of Leaf in like a maid dress. Like it's a lot. Like they've been waiting for so long, for like maybe like almost a year, and now they're like crying over the fact that they got what they wanted. They got like the angsty backstory, and they also got like an angsty letter from Leaf to Andreas, and like, Dashin's winning.
That's type of king energy that like I want that like good on Dashin, honestly. Like you deserve it. You deserve everything, king.
Yeah, like Dashin has been waiting, so it was like I was just like waiting intensely, being like, oh man, I hope Dashin loves this episode. And it's one of my favorites actually, The Core and the
Same.
King, for just multiple reasons. And it's all because of Beryl. Always.
Oh yeah, I love Beryl so much. I've been meaning to like make fan art of him, but just gotten so busy because some of my IRL life and some things are happening here that I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because like Beryl is a very interesting character. Like, I actually do love the fact that The Core and the King is like such a simple episode. I think it's like 12 or 13 minutes long, but it's able to make me so emotionally attached to like characters that have only been revealed a few times before. But like, it's like the way that they're implied, like, they're still very much present within the show itself, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, you have mentions of, Beryl regarding like being Beryl the brave, Beryl like the strong-hearted. No, that I say that to him. It's not canon, but like there's multiple mentions of him like being seen as like the savior, this warrior, the representation of like the toads at like their greatest. And then you have Leaf, who's like, I don't know if anyone remembers Leaf within like the history, since it's been like 1,000 years, but like she was able to create this massive like family basement, and by that extension, like you have she has like this bed underground, like she has it, like she writes stuff in it and stuff like that. But also it's implied that as the generations went on, the planter family basement became a place where the planters are able to create art, create science, like dabble into like different experimentations, like gathering treasures and stuff like that. And it became like this like place where it's not like isolated, it's not like one thing, it's like carried over by generations. And I find that like really cool.
Yeah, like honestly, it's when the planners first found about the basement, that episode in season 1, and I'm like, man, it would be and how like, because I've always had this wish, because I was born to a really big family, and I've had this wish like, man, I really wish some of these guys I know, my ancestors, I wonder how cool they were, because a lot of the stuff I have is just not recorded. So like I I felt that like that's kind of like my one of my wishes is it would be really fucking cool if like my family basement were like filled with like warriors and like biologists and like
Oh
scientists or
yeah.
whatever secretly.
It's always really cool when you get into like your own family history, because I remember one of my great great grandmothers passed away like a few years ago. And I never really knew her because like she's very old. We never really talked that much, but like when we went to the funeral, there was like this huge procession of people, and like they talked about how, I think during World War II, she was I think, like those people who help mothers, like, before like they gave birth and stuff like that. I forgot
Yeah.
what they're called.
Yeah, I know
um
those. Yes.
yeah, those people. She worked past the clock throughout like World War II to help a lot of mothers during that time. And like they talked about how like she was a very kind person. She made sure that all the people under her care were like cared for. She loved a lot of people, even when World War II was going on. And it makes me think like, wow, like there must be like a lot of people in my history that I never even thought about. Like even like parents or like my grandparents like went through something like hearing about the Vietnam War, and it makes me wonder like what other stuff like I've never even heard about that kind of like passed me by.
Yeah. It's also sorry, I just have to say this. I can't believe Andrea's fucked. I can't believe Andrea's fucked Spring's ancestor, and he's still alive.
I can't. Like, that hit me like a fucking truck. Because, like, I didn't expect you to say that. But now that I think about it, like, not gonna lie, that letter, I wouldn't say it's fruity, but there's something going on there, and I'm kind of just staring at it. No, Astro, no, I am not. Oh no, the results are in, Hazel. The results are in. The results are in. The results are in. Look what you've done. You know what the best part is? Like, you know what's the best thing other than that?
What?
It's like, Leaf actually got a man, and Andrews didn't.
Ah, bitchless.
Like, Leaf got a man, and I don't blame him. Like, I saw Dashin, like, create art for, the husband. I'm like, yep, you know what? Leaf got a keeper. Yeah, like, Leaf got an absolute keeper.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're making discourse in the chat.
Honestly, what gets me is that, like, despite Leaf, like, being married and, like, having kids, and, like, she wrote that letter in her old age, and I'm just like, she never stopped thinking of Andreas all this time. And
She never did.
yeah, and also there was this text post Dashin made on Tumblr. I think it went something like, "You know who else is beautiful?" And then the husband blushes. Who? And then Leaf says King Andreas.
It's like, yeah, you remember King Andreas? You know, like that guy, like, you know, like you were talking about. Yeah, him. It's like, and the husband's just standing there. It's like, I'm still like really emo about it because like the implications is that, you know, like Leaf probably never knew that like her letter was going to reach Andreas at all. Like she's kind of like praying that it would, but it's more like something like an apology, like a written apology before she dies. And
yeah, it's so fucking sad, man.
it's like really sad.
This is why I
Like,
can't watch The Core and the King too much because I start crying. Like I get really emotional.
and like the fact that Matt confirmed that the trio dynamic for the OG was akin to like they became friends like over time due to like proximity. Like you have a frog who is assigned to be a gardener for the Mossman, and then you have like a guard, and then you have, you know, a prince. And as time went on, they became friends. Like they became really, really close. And now all of that is like in shambles. Like they probably wanted like to stay friends forever, and then, you know, the betrayal happened. They probably were like friends ever since they were like little teenagers, like maybe for years.
Yeah, you ever have a polycule breakup so bad you create racism?
No. It's like you ever have a breakup so fucking bad that you instigated like a massive racist surge in your country.
Yeah. I think what I'm looking for, because like Amphibia is fucked because of all their natural resources, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Andreas ran that shit to the ground. So I'm kind of like wondering, how are they gonna repair that? I wonder.
Mossman, and also the Jeremy the Beetle.
Oh yeah, him. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's so weird, but like I remember when I saw the episode, you know, for Jeremy the Beetle, you know, the mushroom, and I kept like screaming at my screen because everyone's like, oh, like we don't need like everyone's kind of like going like on the idea of like, you know, encouraging horticulture, and I'm like, it's like, why are you so like against horticulture, y'all? Your continent is dying, all your plants are like not flourishing, your trees are like fucking in shambles. Like, why are you going like on fucking horticulture? Like, Hot Pop's right, y'all need a flower, y'all need
Yeah.
like plants. Like, where the fuck are you gonna get your plants when you don't have like any farmers?
Where are you gonna get your oxygen, bitch? How are you gonna breathe?
It's like the oxygen's dying. It's all converting to carbon because of freaking Andrews and like his freaking Lorax ass, you know? His freaking Onceler ass is like destroying the environment.
Yeah.
It's like you need oxygen, and I declare that.
And
here's
food.
my first prediction.
You need oxygen and food, like.
It's like first prediction for the final episode. Jeremy the Beetle is going to become very relevant. He's going to grab his like massive like plant farmer followers, and he's just like, all right, guys, we're going to like bring forth plants again, and you know, everything's good in the world now.
Unless.
Oh no. What's the unless?
Oh, I just wanted to say something ominous, but like.
It's like unless, and then you just like hear like this really intimidating music in the background. Amphibia being a bit earthcore. Hey, Astra, no.
Earth? What's
It's like we
what's...
cannot let Amphibia do this.
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
Astra. Oh, wait, Hazel, what did you say?
Hang on, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. We were supposed to do a Q&A. Fuck.
Oh, okay.
Hang on. Yeah, let me just get.
I thought this was the Q&A.
Yeah, I mean it is, but like I do have like from my notebook and stuff. Okay, so let's see. So what's your predictions for All In?
Oh, okay. So, oh wait, predictions for All In or
I mean,
the
sorry,
hardest
I
thing?
mean like the hardest thing.
Okay, so I do have a few predictions that could vary, could potentially not happen. I know one might be certain. Possibly, I know that I'm a clown and it might not happen because every time I try to make a theory or predict for this show, the only time that I got it right was with Sasha like redeeming herself, and we all know that was gonna happen. But anyway, for the hardest thing, I have two predictions. One, there's probably going to be a final like chat scene between Marcy and Andreas.
I want that. I want that so bad, please.
Like a very, like, how do you say it? I don't know how it's gonna work. But there's gonna be like a very emotional scene, probably when like Andreas is in jail or like, you know, for his crimes or something like that, or is like he's waiting persecution or something. I want Marcy to, you know, talk to Andreas because, you know, this girl had gotten stabbed by this man. I think she definitely wants some answers as to why he manipulated her after like everything that they went through, after like everything that like, you know, she wanted to like confide with him. And I think with Andreas, like, I don't really want I'm mixed on like what I want him to say specifically, but because like, you know, it's kind of like a mix, because if you have Andrew saying I am sorry and I care for you, like I actually did care, it's going to get like a mixed message because because Andrews did that before. Like he said, I really did care, and that was before like Marcy got possessed. Like that's gonna make a lot of mixed messages. Like imagine Marcy like, you know, confronting this man and then realizing she got like a heck of a ton more baggage just from him saying, "I actually did care about you." Like in the end, I don't want
It's
her to
very
get that much baggage.
yeah.
I think like the better it could be like two things. One, it's either an apology, or two, it would be an apology, and also Andrew's going, you're gonna go a lot further than I ever could. You know,
Yeah.
like Andrew's saying, like, you have your friends, you have your support systems. You're gonna go a lot farther than I ever can. Like an encouragement, like to keep going.
And
Like I
to make
think
sure he
that would work.
like make sure like Marcy never turns out like Andreas or like
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
I like that. I like that type of ending because it is shown that he's like now self aware. Like he has been self aware, but now he's like very much self aware of like how fucked up like the dynamic was, and the fact that he's probably gonna have like you know a final like scene with like Marcy, and like if it's ever like in this hypothetical, I think it makes sense to basically encourage Marcy rather than basically give her a lot of stuff to parse through and probably give her a lot more baggage than possible. And, and maybe with encouraging her, like maybe saying, like, you're gonna do a lot more than I, or like, and just encouraging her to like see that, like, she's definitely a lot more suited. Like she's going to go a lot farther than him, like in all aspects. I think that will work out. Less baggage, but also something that like she can also still ponder over, like after the adventure is over.
Yeah,
And
you're
then
so
this,
right, Ashton in the stars. Like I want Andrew to say sorry, but I don't want Marcy to forgive him because it's like uh that's a lot after like everything. And it's because it's like I think Matt Brawley said this in an interview of like how Marcy never really made any connections, unlike Sasha and Anne did. In while her time in in Amphibia, and like they're except for Andreas, like
like,
the person that
oof.
betrayed her and like stabbed her and like got her possessed. That's fucked up.
Yeah, that's very fucked up.
And it's like, man, Andreas would have been a great dad. Actually, he's like he's very like great dadrius energy. If not for like everything he's
Everything
ever
else,
yeah, because
like,
like
yeah, like
he
if he
was
didn't have like
actually
any daddy issues, he would have been like he would have been like a nice dad,
yeah,
he,
he would have been really great actually because like he encouraged a lot of like Marcy's like gave her puzzles and stuff. Like it wasn't Olivia who gave Marcy the title Master Marcy. Was Andreas himself, which just that's juicy as fuck. And it makes me so sad because it's like he really did care for him, because like master titles are reserved for like royalties, like and heirs, and who are like basically your son in a sense. And like
yeah,
Andreas saw that in Marcy, and I'm like, oh god, oh god.
it's like oof, mega oof. Like, yep, there's a lot of like connotation to the idea that like Andreas saw her as like a daughter, and Marcy probably saw him as a dad, and that makes everything even sadder in context.
Yeah. Oh.
Like right into the heart.
Yeah.
It's like, how am I supposed to cope now?
Yeah.
You
Also,
don't.
hang on. I'm gonna get into tangent because we were talking about like how like Dashin was like, this episode is made for me, and like, okay, it's no surprise that I'm biased towards the Sharcy. Because of course, I would get attached to the two people that have like little to no interaction in canon of the show. Of course, I would. And because like there were a lot of like comics and art of headcanons of like, oh yeah, Sasha's gonna rescue Marcy and help and free her from the court, and I'm like, and I always expected like, man, that would be so cool, but I know they'll probably never do it. And it's probably gonna be
And
Anne who's
then it
gonna
happened.
rescue, and like Anne happened, and like, oh my god, this is Darcy fight of my dreams is coming true.
Yeah, I was like very surprised by that because and I was actually really delighted because like we never had like a moment um we never had a moment where we actually did see Sasha and Marcy fight. And I think it actually like even if it's like the interaction between them is very limited, you can see that there's actually a character arc going on in like the beginning from the beginning of the end to I believe not only All In but also you know the hardest thing. Even though we don't know what is happening in the hardest thing, but like you notice that with the beginning of the end, we have that moment where Darcy basically said to Sasha is like you know you have like the flashback, you have the flashback of you know Sasha and you know how you know and Sasha never really
Yeah, this one right here. The one that I'm drawing. Hang on, let me see. The stream's trying to catch up.
yep,
Yeah,
there
that
it
one.
is. Yeah, like Anne and Sasha like never really initiated much in Marcy's interests, and you also see that with Darcy, even if there's like you know even if like Darcy is you know like another persona entirely, you get to see that like they did confirm in the memories that apparently Marcy and Sasha never really had like they like just like Matt said they were pretty formal, like they didn't really have like how do you say it like there isn't really like that spark, you know, like the connection like back in pre-amphibia, like they were like Matt said they were kind of like friends by association with Anne. However, in the beginning of the end, when we actually did see Darcy, like you know, she basically grilled Sasha for basically not really being a friend in a pedantic type of sense with how they saw like the memories, and you also see like Sasha, who is you know slowly opening up to the idea of um, forgiving Marcy, slowly like realize that yeah she was a pretty shitty friend, and you can see it in her eyes like she was like thinking about it like while Darcy was talking, and
Yeah,
then Anne
God,
had to like
I broke
bring her
down
out.
when that scene came.
It's
Ah.
like damn Sasha, you were a pretty shitty friend, and then everyone's like we knew this but yes. 'Cause- and then you go to All In like you have this established idea that like Sasha's now realizing, damn, I was a pretty shitty as fuck friend to Marcy. And then you have that like reach out over to All In, where not only is Sasha actively wanting to fight Marcy and being able to get Marcy back, but it's also just like, it's a bit of initiative. It's Sasha actively showing that she wants to fight just to get to Marcy, just to get to her friend. And because of that, you get to see this in like a really well animated shot where she has to fight Darcy while Darcy is like taunting her, and you get like this really cool catharsis where it shows that like it is like it is like a pretty big step. Like it went from Sasha not really initiating much with like to Marcy's interest or like to Marcy's like safety in general, to Sasha actively fighting even to her like the edge of her life to follow in like Marcy's interest into like Marcy's like agency. And I find that like really cool. It actually does give a lot of catharsis to the Sasha Marcy side of like the trio. That the idea of like it going from Sasha not really caring much about like Marcy's agency to hey, Sasha is now initiating and like helping Marcy's agency, and
Yeah,
like being a better friend.
yeah, like God, All In. Like here's the thing, I would have made fan art for All In, but like I fixated on that scene where like Darcy's helmet like comes off, and Marcy's finally revealed again alive in the
Mhm.
world, and then like Sasha just says like, Marcy, wake up. And she like holds her in this like very Renaissance-esque kind of pose. And I was
It's
like,
like wake up, babe.
wake up, babe, the new Warrior Cats book came out. And I'm like, oh my god. Oh no. Oh no, this scene's gonna get embedded into my brain, isn't it? Oh yep, there it
Yep, and it
is.
got embedded into your brain. It
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. And so like I want that scene tattooed on my eyeballs because I've been waiting for this for so long, for so many for so many episodes, and I finally got it. We fucking won, babes.
It's like you got it. You got the food.
I got my food finally.
You could also see in like the Sasha Ann arc that like yeah, they also did like get a really it's like a pretty good like how do you say it, reunion and reconciliation arc that went on like in the mid of like season 3B. Like you did like if I can remember like you did get the reunion even if it was like pretty quick in pacing. Um you have like the how do you say it, you have the talk about like worries and like stuff from the past, like you were able to get that. You also had like Sasha asserting herself as well, and I think there's also like a few other stuff if I can recall from Sasha's point of view. Oh yeah, Sasha's stuff from the beginning of the end, and also a little bit from the other portions of the episode, such as how do you say it? I'm trying to remember. It was like the episode before the beginning of the end. It was the three armies. You did actually get to see like Sasha becoming like more invested in like helping Anne in like her times of like stress. That was also really good too. Like you actually got like a pretty good like Sasha and reconciliation type of thing going on that also bleeds into the beginning of the end. And yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna miss Amphibia. No, fuck, it really did just hit me out. Amphibia's gonna
Yeah,
end.
yeah, Amphibia is
Oh.
gonna end in like a few episodes. I think one of my biggest excitements right now is Adam Cullis and of course Marcy Journal, because like I don't really like say much about critiques for the show. I usually like keep them to myself and like
Yeah,
talk amid like
yeah,
my friends.
same. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, it's because like a lot of people. Oh, hang on. Oh, fuck, Clip Studio Paint. No,
No,
it's because
no murder.
it's because it's because like a lot of things I've already want to voice out are already voiced out by other people, so I'm just like, I don't really have a need for this to say it
Yeah,
anymore.
and like when it comes to like the Amphibia fandom, usually like I was like actually really surprised because as someone who's like came from like the Steven Universe fandom where a lot of people who are very
God, there was
vehement
so much
against
discourse in
yeah
Steven Universe. I'm so tired. Oh, and I got
like
so tired.
with Steven Universe, like if you like blacklist all of the SU crit stuff, you actually get to see like a fandom who's like really burnt out on criticism. So like if even if you like try to like do criticism, a lot of people are just gonna be really tired over it. So I was like really surprised because it was like a culture shock, not like a culture shock, but like a fandom culture shock, to see like the fandom like really go ham on like talking about stuff to the point that like I could even like consider it complaining because there was actually a lot of negativity that happened at like one point and then it all kind of rushed away or I was like, oh my god, Andreas, oh my god, the core, oh my god, Darcy, and like everything like calm down. But yeah, like other than that, like I still do talk about like different stuff like from a writing perspective, and I do appreciate the show and like I'm able to like learn different stuff about it where I'm like, huh, like what parts were successful, what parts in like the technological the technical side of things, such as like time or like animation budgeting or something like that. Uh, like affects like different stuff like going on within the product, and
Yeah.
like it just adds to like critical work, and I like to do that a lot with like shows, stuff like Arcane, Infinity Train, or even like stuff like the writing crews, with stuff like Star Versus or Rick and Morty and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And if I think everyone here knows about the this the what do you call that again? Storyboarders unite, the writers unite.
Oh
The
yeah, the Storyboards Unite.
Yeah, and it's a lot for like it calls for a lot of unionization and better wages and better time. And like, oh god, hang on, what wait, okay, which one is this? Okay, there we go. And oh no, that's the wrong color.
And then like with unionization, because I do know I have like a friend who did non-union work, and they were tired. They were so tired by the end of the day, because like you know they were basically flogged with a lot of work that uh, from what I know, like all of it, like even if you try to do the math, it would bleed into your vacation days, and that's like pretty fucked up.
Oh yeah, and speaking as someone who's like wants to get into the animation industry, like I know because like I live in the Philippines, I'm gonna be very very hindered from that, and like I'm not I'm going to have a lot of trouble finding remote work. Um. Oh fuck! This is the wrong layer. Okay.
Yeah,
And
be New Deal for animation.
yeah, and like there's it's there's like different cases because of like of because I know Disney TVA won't even like credit their animation team, which is and it's written in like law for them, which is really
Which
fucked up.
that's weird. Like, why don't you like credit your like animators? That's weird.
And like I absolutely know it's because like it does have to do with like I guess elitism of like man like because I thought a lot of Disney's animation was done in house because like but then I didn't realize that no, they just didn't credit their overseas animators. Uh, which I'm pretty sure it's a deliberate choice in Disney.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't want to make too many assumptions, but like since Disney is the type of like it's a conglomerate, it wants to be seen as like pure in a sense where it's like yeah, we made this like for all of our audiences. We made this with all the care in the world, and they don't really like the idea of just like removing that, you know like removing that credit from themselves.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like I don't know if
tricky.
that's like the true reason, but it makes for like an interesting assumption about like Disney as like a conglomerate.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Um, and it's cause like cause I have friends here in the animation industry in the Philippines, and we are like, paid pennies basically for our work. Like I know there's like a lot of like Muki Tamara, who is the head of of the Moon Girl, that's coming up in Disney
Oh yeah,
TVA.
Moon Girl. I'm
Yeah,
actually really excited about that. Like, I
yeah,
keep like my eye on it because I know that like something interesting is up with that show, and I
it
want to see
is. It's
it.
like really good, but like I know it's like they don't even give their workers and this also rings true because like I know Matt and Donna even pirate their own shows because it's like they won't even give their workers Disney Plus or even have access to it, which I'm pretty sure you should. Like that's uh and it's because like before Muki Tamara became head of the animation department in Moon Girl, there was another one, and they were also an overseas animator and who does remote work. And they dropped out of it because it just wasn't worth
Oh,
it. And it's like
oh, damn.
I don't even blame the crew who of like Moon Girl because that's kind of out of their department. It's like definitely Disney's executives who like figure out wages and stuff. And it makes me mad because it's like from what I've heard Moon Girl is a very very good show with awesome lessons and like but it's sad that a lot of that is also mm, had some exploitation going on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Which like
that sounds really fucked up.
yeah, which like I know it's also rings true for like a lot of shows. Like I mean a lot of shows because unions don't really exist here in the Philippines, animation unions.
Oh yeah, oof.
Um
Like, damn, no wonder they're like paying you pennies. That's fucked up.
yeah, and like it gets to a lot more of like specific laws that like of specific laws that keep third world countries like this, which I'm not gonna get into because I don't know it myself. And I do know a bit, but it's gonna take me like super long. It's gonna take me an entire fucking video essay, and I'm like, I'm drawing, man. I just want to draw, but like, God, what was I even saying? I went on a tangent again and completely derailed. Uh, yeah, oh yeah,
Well,
it is called New Deal for Animation. Thank you, the one dork that draws.
yeah, because like with like animation is like really hard. Like I've seen like people, I've seen people like do storyboards. I've seen people like do animation, and like it takes a long time. A lot of people who say they can like make a show like that easy, they're saying it with a lot of ignorance because there's like a lot of people who have to work on the show. There's a lot of like direction. There you have to like do music. You have to do colors. You have to like do people character designs. Character designs like when they're in like a different light. Just like a lot of stuff is like put into these shows, and like even if you're not really into perhaps like the style or the writing or anything like that, but it's just there's a lot of ignorance in like how creative mediums are done. You can even see it with like movies or TV shows or anything like that. There's just a lot of people who think they know what they're talking about. Even me, like I'm not someone who's like in the industry. I'm only like a little bit who knows a little bit about it, and there's still a lot of ignorance knowing there's a lot of stuff that I don't know about.
Yeah, me too. I'm not in the industry. I just have a couple of friends who are, and also a bunch of students who are getting into it. Um, it's so I uh, thank you that one that draws. What do I call you again?
You can like I usually call them B,
Oh
but
yeah, okay. B it
but
is
like
then.
it's based on what B wants you to address them as.
Okay. So, um I got a couple more questions.
Oh,
So what's your favorite season and episode?
oh, okay. Favorite season, like favorite season and then favorite episode?
Favorite season episode. Separate questions.
Okay. Oh, separate questions. Okay. Currently, at this point in time, I am a bit biased. Because, I do have like separate questions. Oh no, separate answers to that.
Oh yeah, go
If I
ahead.
will,
It can be multiple episodes, like depending on
yeah. Like with seasons, I do like season 3A, and for like a whole season, season 2, because I'm biased and like I miss all of the Marcy episodes
Yeah,
overall.
you're like one of the biggest Marsan strippers I know.
Like it's a big deal. Yeah, I'm really into Marcy and Anne, and it's nice to be
Yeah, you
able
wrote a
to
whole
see them
entire
happy.
future AU fic on that with like Anne's divorced husband.
Oh, look, Anne's divorced husband is great. Like, is like I love Anne's divorced husband. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
I
Like
mean,
the
yeah, it's
future,
it's
the
great.
fu- it's like the future AU is interesting because like it's like done in a oh my god, Julian. Okay, yeah, it's done in a time where I was kind of like me and a friend, like we were kind of thinking of it was kind of like a storm of like different ideas where it's like you know like I was really into Marsan. I'm still into Marsan right now. It's just that I am still burnt out on like trying to be able to create anything. So I kind of just like let myself think rather than like do stuff. Back like a few months ago, I was really into the idea of like a future AU where it's like I don't want to do young adult stuff because like I know like there's people like B and like I think a few others who were thinking about young adult stuff, and I wanted to go a few ages further, and I wanted to be like, okay, let me think about this. Like, it's like, what if like Anne, Sasha, and like Marcy were kind of like in a midlife crisis stage? Like put them in like mid age. Like not young adults. Like, I want Sasha to be at that point where she's like, is this a good like is this a good job choice? Is this like the direction I want to go with my life? I want to see Marcy like look through her therapy appointments and be like, wow, I still have a lot of stuff to go through. There's like a lot of residue from Amphibia that I still have to talk about. And then there's Anne. Anne's going through a divorce of like the most highest caliber of all, and it's amazing. It's amazing. I love it. It is the biggest divorce, and I will tell you this. From behind the scenes, we do have a channel where we do talk about the AU. Like we have like a whole outline. We have like a massive outline that like details like a lot of arcs within it, within that AU. And like I remember like me and my friend Bloop, basically we got so attached to the world of like 48 years that we forgot that Anne and like her ex-husband were divorced, and like we had to go through like a massive grief stage when we realized, oh yeah, they're divorced. I remember that. It was like going through an actual divorce when we realized, yeah, oh my god, yep, they're divorced. Right, shit, we gotta get back on the road.
God, that
Because
is amazing. Uh,
quote friend, yeah. If Bloop, I know Bloop is going to listen in on this like live stream later, but yeah, Bloop is my partner of like 48 years, and they're also my partner that I was like telling you about like I think a few months ago,
oh yeah,
like
yeah,
the one that I mentioned, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
And
like the whole shenanigans, like divorce, you know.
Yeah, I think like because I think like after Amphibia ends, I cannot wait for a lot of the AUs that come out of
Oh
Amphibia
yeah,
because that's like
they are
one
gonna
of
be
my
spicy.
favorite pastimes. Like after a fandom ends, and there's this one AU I've been looking, I've been like reading, and it's because it's in comic form, so it's a lot. So it's
Oh,
I
okay.
read it a lot faster, which is the Froggy Marcy AU by Dia Draws.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's because like I followed Dia Draws since the Hive Swap days because it's like I love Hives. I suck love and
Oh my gosh,
and
another
it's
Homestuck is in the chat.
and it's because it's really interesting because this is like before season 3 dropped, so it's like so it's like after TC, and it's like the author pours a lot of its experiences of like what it's like to have like of like preferring its pronouns and like
Oh,
like being out of place in the world and how like sometimes you feel inhuman and maybe sometimes you are like inhuman in like maybe you do want to be inhuman and that's great actually. What if you were just a fucking creature? What if you just wanted to be, huh?
it's
Huh?
like, what if you were a creature and you lived in the middle of a swamp?
Yeah, it's because it's like it draws a lot of like themes from Frankenstein, of like, oh yeah, Marcy got resurrected, and if like, what if rejuvenation tanks work differently in this world where it's like, yeah, you still have to replace Marcy's organs with like, because like that thing categorized through her heart, and it's
It's like,
like,
yeah, oof.
so it's like, what if what if you had to insert frog organs into Marcy how in to make them live, and I'm like, and what if Marcy actually likes just being a fucking half frog, huh? What about it?
It's like, what will you do then? And it's like Froggy Marcy born.
Friggy Mercy. Man, I
Froggy
love
Marcy.
that creature so much. Oh yeah, and like reading that story made me realize, huh, maybe I do want to go by its pronouns actually.
Hey, that's pretty
Hey,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, congrats on the new pronouns.
Maybe. I'm still like experimenting on it, but like new pronouns dropped.
It's like, yeah, fuck yeah, new pronouns. It's always like really interesting when you like dabble into AUs. Like you get to see like portions of yourself or like the stuff that you're like really interested in like bleed onto the pages, if you will. Like
Yeah.
like when it came to like 48 years, the biggest like the concept itself sounds very sitcom-y. The idea of like, hey, Anne got divorced because she didn't realize she was gay for a long time, and now like she's like, well, shit. I guess I'm gonna have to move in with my bestie Marcy in a massive apartment with my son, and like it seems like and like Sasha and like her ex-husband, like no, Sasha and then Anne's ex-husband. I have to make a differentiation here. Sasha's still still dating people. It's like she's not straight. I have to say that. Okay, but yeah, so it's like like everything seems to be pretty funny. It seems to be pretty funny until like you dive into the consequences of divorce, and also like themes about what happens like after Amphibia, like even when you have went through therapy, when you went through a lot of like times together, like when you went through like college and like you had to like go to therapy, you had to like talk about like your feelings, and like you know the basic stuff about usually with future Amphibia use, like they talk about different stuff like fears about like the fears of the different girls, like as like they go through like college and stuff like that. And I kind of went a little bit further and went, It's like, what type of problems would the girls have in like mid-age? Like, what type of problems from like way back when, even when they had like a lot of therapy, would still keep on chugging after they went through like their therapy sessions, after like they established themselves in their jobs, after they established themselves with their own families and like friend groups and stuff like that. And you kind of have like this weird amalgamation of like you have like they're still the same characters, they still have like their familiar personalities, but also like they're going through life in a way that is like still connected to like how people would also try to navigate their life. Like, Anne is kind of similar to like when she's like in post divorce, she kind of goes through it a lot. Like she has like she's in a new apartment now. She doesn't really want to see her ex-husband for like a reason like she doesn't I don't know how to explain what was going on between her and her husband, but let's just say like they were really good friends. Like they were really good friends that really did care for one another. Like they've been basically like best friends like throughout the entirety of their marriage, and like stuff like happened, and it's tough, it's rough, and you also have like Sasha, who's kind of going through a crisis, like because you have Sasha, who's like, okay, like what do I want to do with my life at this current moment, and you also then want to have this plot point where it's like you want Sasha to like be there for Anne in like post divorce, because there is like a moment in the AU where like Anne calls Marcy and Sasha like almost at the brink of tears, telling them that like she needs them to be there for her at this current point in time, because like a few minutes ago she and her ex-husband broke up, and at that point in time Sasha, we know that Sasha is like a very protective person. Like she has like good intentions, and in post Amphibia, I want to believe that like she doesn't ever want to see the girls hurt ever again, like ever. And so you have like this whole thing where Sasha just like kind of gets like this flashback thing where she's like, she hears Anne so hurt, like so at rock bottom, like throughout the beginning of like the AU over like the divorce, and you can see like how Sasha like reacts over that, and how like she tries to gain agency over that. And you also have like stuff going on with Marcy too, like a lot of stuff happens. 48 years roommate gay simulator, haha, more like pain simulators.
Honestly, I think you and Mia are on a similar wavelength, because I'm kind of sort of sick of like teenage bullshit in the it's cuz
It's like you should go to math class.
yeah. And it's cuz One Day at a Time, right? You watched it?
I only like watched a few episodes.
Yeah, but
and I
like
don't remember because it went by in a flash, and I'm like, oh well, I guess I'm gonna have to rewatch it again.
and it's because I a couple people, because the thing I've been seeing a lot in Tumblr, the gifs, is about how like, oh, there's a gay couple and a canon gay couple in a canon kiss, and like, and I watched the show, and no one talks about the mom. And
The mom.
yeah, and like, here's the thing, okay, I never told this to anyone because it's like low key, but I do kind of kin the mom.
Oh my god.
Because it's like,
It's
oh
like
man, it's this person who's like a single mom trying to take care of her kids while trying to like deal with like, maybe I should take antidepressants, and maybe I'm not weak for having that, and like I'm trying to navigate life, and I'm dealing with my ex-husband, and like, wow, I am not even in a midlife crisis, and yet that is like the most relatable person I've ever like seen on television. And it's like so sad that no one talks about her, and it's like, hello. This is like a really rich character to get delve into, because it's like she has her own life, but she has to take care of her mom also, who is like sometimes like pick very bug and picks on her and her life and her life choices, and it's like, ma'am, you deserve some rest.
It's like, man, if I was ever her, I would be crying on the spot. With like characters like that, I always really want to see more of them. And of course, like I get to see them in like adult TV shows, you know, like How I Met Your Mother and stuff like that. But I always really wanted to see like an animated show that is focused on like, you know, adults. Well, of course, there's like Rick and Morty, and there's also stuff like um I forgot BoJack Horseman, but I just want to see more of those. Like I want to see like, you know, because the thing that like always like messes me up with, you know, the bridge between like kids, teens and like adults is that people always get this gist that, you know, if you get into your 20s, if you get into your 30s, like your life is over.
Oh,
Like
it's
you have
absolutely
not.
not. It's absolutely not. Like
Yeah,
it's
definitely
like,
not.
oh god, my life is ending, and then you turn 30.
Yeah, like whenever like I talk to people, they always have like this fear that like they're going to go through divorce, they're going to like be stuck in a job that they don't want, like they're not gonna flourish when they're like in their 30s. And it's like, oh, like as a person who has like a lot of friends who are like in their 30s, hell, Matt Bradley is like I think 33. You have a lot of like
And that's
you like
pretty
have
young
a
for
lot of
as
stuff going
a
on.
producer. Like most animation directors and producers aren't in their 30s. Matt Bradley is
Oh
just
yeah,
like
that's true.
one of the, like, I don't know what's up with him. He's like, you're insane, Matt Bradley. Yeah. That's
Like he worked really hard. Like
yeah,
from what
he
I know,
did.
Cal Arts people, they kind of like get into the industry immediately and then start working, which is kind of a
It's
lot per
crazy.
se.
Yeah. And hang on, what was I gonna say about this? We were talking about yeah, adult animation, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um yeah, I wish, cuz it's like I like anime, but like, and I know it's like I don't watch a lot of anime because it's like there's a lot of tropes that are
yeah.
like very repeated, and like, please stop being horny, please stop being horny, please, please.
Please, like, please stop being horny for these teenage girls. Please stop.
Yeah. Um yeah, and it's because like, okay, because ever since I saw a post that for you to recommend Dirk Gently, I'm like, oh, cool! It's a bunch. It's a protagonist is 30 years old. That's awesome. Actually, like in his 30s, and he's like broke, and he goes in this magical adventure with this like guy he just met.
It's like I
um
don't remember this post.
oh no, it was in your tags. Something about like shows you would recommend, and I saw put, and you tagged it as like Dirk Gently, and like, hey, I've
Oh
heard of
yeah, Dirk
that.
Gently. Dirk Gently. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
like shows like that. You know, like if you're like, I think it's like very essential because like as like what I notice with cartoon fandoms is that there's like a lot of kids or teenagers who are slowly out. You know, they want to get more into like mature or like adult content,
But
and
there
I
isn't
know that
really a lot of like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, like there isn't really like a place for like teenage or like you know like a bridge between kid and like adult. So like there's not really like teen animation. Like Amphibia could be considered like a teen animation because like at one point it kind of like got like that rating, but
Yeah.
overall like it's considered more of like a kid animation, and or like like an animated show that is directed to like all ages rather than like a specific demographic. And I really do think that with a lot of people who want to get into like mature themes, like, you know, a lot of people are really into gore or into like very like deep, like interesting topics regarding, like, how do you say it, children mindsets, like teenage mindsets, like the skirmish of like different people and what they think. I think it would be interesting if, like, you know, there is like teen animation or like different shows that like they can get into where they see more adult characters, or like more like just people like that they could like understand or like get into, because like there are a lot of shows that out there that can help, but for like animation you don't really get that much.
Yeah. It's it makes me sad. Like, okay, now I remember what I was gonna say. Cause um God. So I did come from the Homesick fandom, okay? I'm gonna admit this. And it's cause like so there was this epilogue that came out which like was very divisive, and I'm not gonna go into much of
Oh.
that, but like there was this one fanfic that did came out from that, and it was by, and it's called God Feels by Sarah Zedig. And it's basically of like how June Egbert figures out how she was trans, and how how people like deal with that, and a lot of it comes from like, because like there's a lot of like I guess, because I know a lot of like non-binary spaces are very heavily skewed to like AFAB or like TME. Um
Uh-huh.
and well, this, because like this fanfic includes a lot of like uh her experiences as a trans woman onto June Egbert, and how it's like sometimes
Oh.
people, you know, sometimes people that you've been with for like friends with for like years suddenly react like, hey, are you actually trans or not? And it's hurtful, and sometimes you don't want to forgive these people, and it's like messy. And then it's also very, it's also space opera. I forgot to mention that it's
Sorry.
also a space opera.
It's like here are like all of like these like really deep and like mature qualities, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot, here's a space, like it's space opera too, like I had like I need to add that.
Yeah, and it's also about a story of like, because Sarah Zedig says it's like, get out of your 20s quick. Oh yeah. And okay, because we're almost at the end of our stream. Like after I'm done finishing coloring this cape, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna call off the stream just so you can rest for, because it's like what is it, like, oh, almost 2 a.m. there.
It's yeah, it's 1 a.m. over here.
Yeah. So, and I, fuck, what was I gonna say? I hate
I
having
think you were
ADHD.
gonna
Oh
I
yeah,
think
oh
you were
yeah,
gonna continue with like a question or
yeah.
like
Oh yeah, the Q&A. Right, let's lightning round this shit. Um
like, yeah, lightning round.
yeah, hang on, before I lightning round it, I was gonna say that, hello, hi, this is my daily plugin about Ball. If you're looking for like a medium with like all the characters are adults or monsters or some type of horror, there's Ball. It's coming in June. It's coming back in June. It's basically a sports simulator, but all the characters are made by the community, and it's got sort of a thing you experience live, like how live sports events are, except like in text form. And it's crazy in the like, people can die, people can incinerate, there's jazz weather, there's ice weather, there's
Jasmine.
coffee weather, and I'm like, not, and I'm like, you can absolutely just look this up. People make games as a video about it. There's also a summary about baseball on YouTube. And if you want to experience what the games are like live, there's the Society of Internet Baseball Research made. Yes, yes, I know how ridiculous this sounds. Yes, there is an entire research facility dedicated to this sports game, to this
Oh
imaginary
my
sports
god.
game. And that, yeah, and yes, these people have made actual academic papers.
Holy
Um
shit.
because there's this one mechanic they introduced which was called e-density, which which used actual math formulas, and people figured that out. Yeah, so basically, if you combine a bunch of like fandom people who like make art and a lot of like sports enthusiasts who are like also mathematicians who are like statisticians and stuff, you create this, and it's great because they're like the fandom is very heavily skewed towards like a lot of trans people and who are and neurodivergents and people who are young adults to like middle aged group because that's just how sport fans are. Yeah, there's a anyway about cyber. Yeah, they have an archive of like the live games in there called before in and like it's pretty easy to find. So you can just Google it, I guess. But anyway, that's it for my baseball thing. I also run a podcast, but that's neither here nor there. That's a very minor thing. I figured out how to make an entire fucking podcast
Like,
because of
huzzah!
baseball. Insane. It's
It's like get
crazy.
your Blazeball sponsorship because
Yeah.
you want to get people into the Blazeball.
Yeah. Please get into baseball. I'm begging you. Okay. Lightning round. Okay.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm
What was
ready.
your most memorable line in Amphibia for you?
Most memorable line in Amphibia. Okay, let me. This is gonna take a while. I do like the very memorable line of like, why are the books going through? Maybe they prefer audiobooks. That
Oh
is
my
still one of
god.
my favorite Anne lines. Every Anne line that is just head empty from her mouth. That's my favorite. My second favorite is it's like whack a mole. I was like what like or tank a, it's like whack a mole like whack a tank or something, and then she says whack a take a dark a mole. She said that in one episode, which is still like going through my brain. Like it's really catchy for some reason. Like
It's
whack a take a
really
dunk a mole.
good. It's really good. Man, my most memorable line is of course the one where Sprig says, "Yo, Loggle, we gotta talk about this, man."
We gotta talk about this, man. I'm coming back. Just like we're getting back. All right, goodbye.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good Sprig lines. I do know that like with season 3B, one of my favorites from Sprig right now is like it's like what if she remembers my flavor from the fight or flight with like the specific like squint expression that he does. It's one of my favorites because like the comedy in that episode was like peak. Like I would recommend watching that episode again.
Yeah, man, Amphibia has such great lines. You cannot make me choose, but like if you will, it's probably like a bunch of things. And like hang on, what was I gonna say? And
I think it was
like
like
and like okay, a bunch of like memorable things for me is like when Sasha says "excuse me." why did why did she say it like that?
it's like it's all Sasha. I would also say like a favorite Sasha line would be "Good Lord,"
Good
because like
lord.
that is definitely a Sasha line.
Yeah.
Like she's really done with their shit.
Yeah. Okay, so top 5 favorite Wartwood citizens.
Top five favorite Workwood citizens. Okay, so first one that would be Wally. I love my boy. He's just a man who just wants to be a vagrant. Second would be Sprig, of course. Sprig is my favorite. He counts because I love my boy. He's trying his best. He's the representative of his own species, and like I think about that all the time. Like he's probably gonna be part of the history books for like stopping Andreas, and I find that really charming. Three, I do like Ivy. I do like Ivy's like very like rambunctious spirit, especially in how she dictates herself, and and all that. Number four, I guess Toady, because Toady's like a little fucked up frog man who has like his own like character arc like throughout the show, and I'm like, yeah, like I do like that. I do like the fact that he has like his own little arc. and I think with 5, I'm thinking like I do like Polly. Polly, the fact that they were able to add a lot more to her by making her like be a prodigy, actually adds a lot more to her character when it came to like her very bloodthirsty nature, and also her like focus on weaponry, and also the the art of warfare. Like, so I just love Polly. So yeah, like those are my 5. What about yours?
I know I wrote these questions down, but I actually did not write it down. But 100% in my list, it's going in. I don't know where Mrs. Kroger falls, but she is there. I don't know. Mrs. Kroger definitely there. Lago also there. Yeah. So, what about favorite background character? Like one of the ones who just don't have any lines and is just there, but you just like them.
Favorite background characters. Okay. I absolutely okay, so there was like this one background character in True Colors. It was before like the castle flies into the sky. It's like, like the span of like nudes that see like look on in horror as like the castle slowly like breaks out.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is like this one newt. This one newt that is like holding like a bowl of worms, and he's like such a stout little newt guy. And every time I look at him, I'm like, oh my god, he's such a little cutie. I want to draw him at some point. Isn't there some newt named Steve? I don't know if there is a newt named Steve. I think
Steven
like
Universe?
like in the Owl House, I do know that there's a guy named Steve, but there's no newt named Steve. But yeah, like there's like this newt that has just like a bowl of worms, and he's just a little guy. He's just a little guy holding his bowl of worms, and he's surprised that like everything's going to shit. Like, I hope he had a good time. I hope he had a good day.
I hope you had a good day. Me too.
Yeah. I hope he has a
Um,
good time eating his worms.
one of my favorite background characters, one of the Utopians that has like a hood. One of the newts that has a hood. That thing doesn't talk. I don't know what's
Oh, the
about
the
it, but
guards?
yeah, the guards. I like them a lot. They're like they
It's
don't like man, they don't do anything, but I love their design. I want a hood like that. Oh yeah.
they're just like those goofy like guards. Like, you like I can imagine like Sprig trying to make them laugh and they wouldn't laugh, but if like Sprig like falls on his ass, they would laugh. Like they're that type of character.
Yeah. Okay. How about are there any headcanons you haven't really talked about?
Okay. I have a lot of headcanons. But let me try to make this easier for myself, choose a character.
Okay.
Like, choose a
Polly.
character. Polly. Um I want to believe that Polly like, you know, after Amphibia, she's going to, get involved in like, robotics, machinery, like that's for certain. But also, like, I want to believe that like she's Arrow Ace, like
Yeah,
she's not really
she gives
involved.
me a lot of that vibe.
Like the only thing that like kind of like can not really contradict it would be like Civil War, where she like really likes a man's abs and it's like, yeah, like either it's like Arrow Ace Polly or Bi Polly, and like both of them are very valid. It's like and then, like she's gonna but the thing that I want to think about is like, in the future, she's not really gonna focus on, she's not really gonna focus on like any relationships or anything like that. She's gonna focus like on her career. She's gonna
Hmm.
be like, yeah, I'm gonna focus on like making more frobots. I'm gonna make like she's gonna talk to like Polly. Oh wait, no, Allie and Jess about maybe get some like some college buddies that they have, and maybe like meet up in Amphibia and make some
God,
like really
yeah,
cool robots.
I want the Polly spin-off so bad because it's like Okay, if Polly wasn't like a pollywog, she definitely, and if she became the host for the core, it would be so over, guys. It would be so over
Oh,
for
so
us.
overkill. So overkill. Polly already has like the bloodlust and also has like a lot. She's really smart too, just like Marcy and like the machinery type of biz. And like when I think about her, like when like she creates her robots. All right, so this is also like a headcanon for like the future of Amphibia that actually kind of gets like integrated a bit in like all of the other like future AU type of stuff that I do. Is when Polly like makes robots, she has like like all of the robots that are like um post after Andreas gets his ass kicked. I want to think that all of the robots, or even the future robots that are being reproduced, what happens is that with the continent in making sure that like a lot of people are okay and that a lot of people don't get killed, because like with Amphibia, there's always like the death jokes everywhere because a
Like
lot of
a lot
people
of the
like
hot pop dies jokes and
yeah,
like
Hop Pop dies. Everyone's writing their will immediately after birth because like everyone is ready to die and stuff like that. Because like like the frogs are going through it. They don't have any protection. They don't have like anybody like protecting them. They don't really have like anyone looking out for them like politically like during like the whole thing with like with season 1.
yeah.
So what I want to think is that like after Polly does some little tinkering and stuff like that. Oh, hey, Bloop. Basically, Polly gets all these robots and basically makes them, like the Iron Giant.
Yeah. Oh god, I love
Yeah,
the Iron Giant. Yeah.
basically have all of the Frobos be the Iron Giant to like this one specific village in
And
like
people have to
this
stop
massive
Polly
continent.
from like being the next tyrannical dictator because she rules all the robots.
It's like all the robots. And like I like the idea of like all these towns being like, what the heck kind of like hunk of junk is this? And then like as slowly all of these towns are like, wait, no, we really love the robots. We love our robots that like to protect us. And you get to see like the robots also like being really friendly and affectionate to the people that they're protecting, just like a Polly's Frobo. I think that would be really cute. Just like having all these robots being like, yeah, like they want to protect the people that they're protecting, and like all these towns, they're protected, and that means that they can like rebuild their societies and like they can get stronger as a result.
Yeah. um
It's neat.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. Um and yeah, I God, Amphibia Man, thinking about
Amphibia,
it.
amphibia on the
Amphibia.
brain. Amphibia is the
Amphibia.
rotisserie chicken in the brain.
Oh, hello, Blue, who is Bork's partner. Hello.
Hello, hello,
um,
platonic bestie.
and it's like, God, I can't believe I finished this today. Huh?
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah.
Like you
I'm
did
gonna.
really good.
Yeah, but I'm still gonna. Actually, since a bunch of people are here, I can go through my process of like how I did one of my arts. Let me
Oh, sweet.
go through it, and I showed this in the other stream, but like I'm still very proud of this. Just like
Hell
as like
yeah.
an insider scoop from me. So I did this promo for the core and the king. Hang on. It's a big file. It Clip Studio Paint might crash on me. There we go. And this is like one of my favorite pieces, and I'm not actually sure if people want a print of this. I'm thinking about it. Cause it's
It's
like,
like if I have money, I will definitely get it because it's still like one of my faves as well.
yeah, honestly, that's me with every amphibian merch. God, I wish I had money. I would have
It's like,
just
God, I wish I had freaking money. Me looking at the Marcy journal.
yeah, me too. God, I want it so bad, but it's like the shipping cost is not worth it. The shipping cost in the Philippines is not worth it. I wish can someone give me $100, please? Um
Also, I just noticed it, but like the I just realized that's the core eye. I'm
really?
like, oh my, I just realized it. I just realized it at this point. It's like,
Yeah.
oh wait, that's the core eye.
Yeah, I've been like trying to make it like seem stylistic. Cuz that's the core eye cuz like I had inspiration. I had an image in my head of like how I wanted this piece to look like. And like as an artist I brought about some inspiration. So this is my friend Cameron who was on stream last time, and he was the one who lent me like his oil jitter brush, and how he like
Ooh,
did his art piece for like this one in the center right here. Um that's his Frankenstein character. And yes, this is Dog Miles Edgeworth.
dogs. Oh my god, that's why it looks so familiar.
And hang on, it's subtle, but I did put a noise layer on this. I'm turning it off now. Hang
Hey,
on, where is
yo,
that?
like if you have these different blushes, I know that there's like 3 artists in the chat right now who might want the brush, perhaps, probably.
Oh yeah, do you guys use Clip Studio Paint? Because these are like exclusively Clip Studio Paint. But like yeah, I can link them. Wait, well, hang on. I don't have them on like I guess you can just DM me on Tumblr actually. Like I'm just feel free to DM me. Like I am the most chill person ever. Like I never really got any friends in the fandom. Sort of I had like mutuals, but like actual friends I made in the fandom, it's cuz like I'm mostly closed off and I talk in DMs in Discord most of the time where you could reach me. Uh and if you do one and just DM me on Discord, feel free to do so.
What's your Discord?
My Discord is hang on, let me just do
Like, type
copy.
it in the chat.
Sh-
Yeah.
yeah, that's my tag. Hang on. I'm gonna cuz the other inspiration for this print is this like Spider-Man poster that no one ever saw, and it's such a crime.
Ooh, ooh. Can you give me the? I like Spider Man. Like, I've never watched the movies, but I do like the Spider Man, and I want to reblog it.
Do 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 do. Okay. Do, do. Okay. Hang on. It was no way. Which one was the first movie? Homecoming, right? Okay.
Homecoming, yeah. It's like you got this. Because yeah, like I have like a lot of admiration to all of you guys who are artists because like I'm not like I'm mainly like someone who does it on the side, and I mainly am a type of person who just like focuses on writing
Okay,
or ceramics and
here
stuff
it
like that.
is. Here it is.
Oh,
Oop. See, there we go. And it does this like really cool transition of him being Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and like they
ooh,
never use this.
oh,
They never use this, and I got so mad because like the composition on this thing is amazing, but they didn't do it. They never posted it. And I found out about this because of I don't really remember. I think it was Tumblr. So I like utilized the whole masking spinning thing into here there. And it's
oh.
like and like and it's like because it's like the one thing I'm very weak at is colors. And I found out you can just do flats and then color them in later by like adding a lot of effects. This is it without the mask layer. This is it. This is the whole thing. It's King Andreas, and I wanted to do this transition, but I couldn't figure out how because I had to like keep his face and body consistent so that you get this cool effect. So what I did was hang on. Yep, that's the fat colors. Where is the coloring on this? Oopsie. There we
You made him
go.
disappear. Oh no.
And like yeah, that's the entire thing. This is the flat color, and I had to like try to sync this up with this one. Which okay, let me get rid of. This is how many effects I have. Like color
Oh my god.
correction, Andreas, and where is that? And that's just the facts, and I was able to like figure that out um with hang on. Oops. Oh no, I made him disappear. Yeah, yeah, that's just the entire liner, and I had to like figure out how to sync that. So yep, his face his face is like the same, and I had to keep that shape. And it,
Oh.
it was a lot of like copy pasting. So I guess my process for this was you start with the lines, then you start with the flat colors, and you color in those lines, and then you add a bunch of you add like multiply. So I figured out if you do a purple overlay and then a darker color, you get this nice effect of like just an off-white color and it's slightly dark in some areas. And then after that you use a multiply tool with like a very textured brush to get this, but I wanted it to be a bit darker, so I added the multiply effect.
Oh.
And this, and it
Man's
was a lot
angsty
of,
now.
and it
Just
was
like
a,
the addition of a layer, he's now angsty.
yeah,
Just like he should be.
yeah, and I wanted like a subtle, because the light's coming from the bottom, and like, because in the episode there's a fireplace, right, where he was burning the
Oh
painting.
yeah, the
I
fireplace.
made this before I found out about that, by the way. I just thought it was
Oh
a cool
yeah.
thing.
Like you thought it was like a cool fireplace type of like effect.
Yeah. And like right now it already looks good. I could have just made this the promo, all fats with just these effects. It was okay. Like I added some subtle soft lighting, but then I was like, you know what would be better if I posterize this, which is the effect I'm doing here in the lyric stuck right now is called posterization.
Oh, okay.
And oh god, I lost the layer. Oh no. Oh wait, no, I'm here. And like I
Oh,
masked I did a bit of masking here because there were some things I needed to erase. And then like here's the final effect. And how did I do that? Well,
how you made the man angsty.
hang on, let me just bring out the layers for this. I start I start with just painting over the posterization, then adding more light, then more light, then more light,
Pasteurized
then more
art.
light, then more light, then more light, and then like a final a final thorough. And I did that with Andreas. And now let's look at the trio and how I did that. So this is just them like full color. I did color this. So like you don't see this in the final product because I like I turned
Wait,
them
you
green.
painted all of it?
Yeah, I painted all of this with
Oh
all
shit.
full color, and then I monochromed it all to just green, which I was kind of sad about it. But if I wanted this poster to work, I had to do it. And if I want, and I was choosing, okay, do I want this a bit darker or not? And that was like a couple of like design choices I made. Then I added this add glow effect later because I'm like, yeah, there's light that's bouncing off from these guys. So like I made a deliberate choice because like Leaf has the box, and then you have Daryl just there, and then Andreas's dad is like facing back because I'm like I wanted a choice of like he's still looking down on his son, and you know, well
He'll
I'm
always look
yeah.
down on him.
Yeah, and this was the original background color before I switched to this brown yellowish gradient. Let me
That
see.
actually makes me have a question. Like, we know that Aldrich is established as a character, but now that is Aldrich still gonna be present in the final episode
Oh
in some
yeah,
way?
I have no idea. I hope he's
Like,
dead.
is Aldrich gonna die? Like what's gonna happen? Like, will we actually see him again, or is he just like gone and he's just gonna be like moving around with the core?
I hope he's gone, to be honest.
Yeah. Like, did this man like perish? Like, are we gonna see one last look at him or not?
Yeah, okay. And okay, yeah, there we go. And it's Andreas. A lot of flat thingies and yeah, a lot because it's like I had to make a lot of choices of like, okay, this looks already good, and if I paint over this, I'm afraid the effect might get lost. So I had to do a lot of painting of like, because I really love the effect between these two, the white to the suit part, and I'm like, I don't want to lose that. So I thought of something better. If I added a yellow, you could see there's a cast shadow on some of his
Oh.
like labels. And it's like because I also really love the posterization I did on Andreas's um armor here. So like I didn't want to get that lost. And like if I knew if I painted over that it might. So I added a light, and it actually does make it look better. And then like the painful thing was like figuring out how to do the eye. Ooh. um with because it's like yeah, you get this like cool neat effect, and I'm like the only person who knows. I'm like, oh god, there's like you I can make like multiple versions of the same
Oh, hey,
poster.
Azzy.
Yeah. Hello. I could make multiple versions of the same poster depending on like the shape of the eye. Like, hang on, let me just I'm not gonna save this copy anyway, so because it's do come on, G Pen.
Also, to like respond to the chat, um, it's like to respond to the chat, like, yeah, like I regard like the core is still alive. The core is on the moon somehow, and it's very much alive. So if in the destruction of whatever is attached to the moon, I think Aldrich is just gonna die a painful death of being unknown, and that's like 69. It's like so like he's just gonna die unknown. And also B, thank you for complimenting my writing. That like means a lot to me, because you know Andrew's boobs. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like I come back a lot to this file because I could just do a lot of erasing and then not erase, and like how much I reveal of the beard, how much I like okay, because I was really considering just doing this. Hang on.
Ooh.
Of just doing something similar to this where you could see the duality a lot better, but then I thought of the eye thing, but like a lot because then
Oh, okay, that
I didn't
looks
want
really cool.
I didn't want the color to get lost because I did a lot of the armor in all of these, and I'm like, will people even be able to see his like how I colored this, his belt, his whatever you call this thing, like his towel. or like how
His towel.
how I colored the chains, or like his chest plate, or etc., or like his or like how I colored the scar. Will that get lost? Like his big old scar here, where I like colored all
It's
of
like,
that.
will his tits remain? Who knows?
Yeah, because I was also thinking of how I'm like, how do I retain this? Because I know, because his younger self was a lot smaller, and I was having a lot of trouble figuring out like how do I retain his big chest, and like he doesn't have one when he was a teenage, was when he was young, he was, and I'm like, and before I like, which I figured all of that out in the like in the line art, but it was like, yeah, it was a lot of like process, and I'm like, I wish I could just bring this energy a lot more, because I did this in like 3 days.
Like,
Like,
that takes a lot.
yeah,
Like, you've been
yeah.
working for like 3 days. You've been chugging.
I've been chugging. Yeah. And yeah, that's kind of my process for the poster. No, do not save. Absolutely not.
Heck
Uh
yeah.
and I think that's all of my Q&A questions. Oh wait, hang on. I have one more thing.
Ooh, okay.
Did you
Okay,
get
I'm ready.
into the owl house before or after Amphibia?
I actually got into the Owl House after Amphibia. Because I remember that Amphibia like came out earlier in like I think 2019, and the Owl House came out in 2020. So with the Amphibia, I was actually involved with I was slightly involved with the fandom. I was slightly involved, but I was very much into analyzing Amphibia. Yes, the season one Amphibia. Like before TOH. And I think TOH like came out while I was still in my Full Metal Alchemist phase. So I wasn't able to get into it or like get hyperfixated onto it because I was involved with like FMA. I was really lost in the sauce there. And then my friends were like, hey, here's TOH. Please watch it. It's like, yeah, sure, I'll watch it. And this actually led to like a really interesting interaction with me and Azzy, where we noticed like there's similarities between like FMA and some portions with like some portions of like Bellows and stuff like that. And so we're like, you know what? Like Luz should shonen punch Bellows in the face,
She
and
should.
as he got a pen, is like, you got it, and then just like made a really cool artwork of like Luz punching Bellows.
God, I want to see that.
Yeah, like Azzy, feel free to like put the link in here. Like it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But what about you, Hazel? Like
Okay.
when did you get into
Okay.
TOH?
So I got into it before Amphibia. Like I got it
Ooh.
season 1. I was talking to a bunch of my friends about this. Um and it's weird because I like the Owl House's writing, but I gravitated a lot more to Amphibia and
Yeah,
its
I felt
fandom
that.
more, and I think I figured out because it's a lot more close knitted in a way. Like it's big, but it's not like grandeur like Seoul big fandom where it's like you
Yeah,
know, you get to know a lot more people like better. It's like because there's not a lot of writers or artists compared to the Owl House fandom, so it's like, oh
you
my
kind of have
god,
like a really good head start with
yeah,
like Amphibia.
yeah, and it's like, oh my god, I could do something here because there's a lot of things that the show leaves open ended that like that you can just create a lot of AUs if you wanted to. Um,
Honestly, like that's like the best part. Like apparently it's intentional to like keep a lot of stuff like open so that the fandom can like go apeshit over it, and it
yeah,
does help. Like there's a lot of people who want to fill in the blanks on how like Marcy, got rescued and like got involved with the king. There's a lot of people who really want to know what happened like with Sasha like after the reunion. A lot of people wanted to know what happened with like Anne after like True Colors. Like there's like a lot of creativity in like the fandom itself that just like lends to like this pretty like big old community.
Yeah, and I think because of the show itself, it's a lot. Um, it's and I think it's also how the fans engage with the show, how differently people connect with the characters and story, and I find myself doing the same. And I think like it makes you like recall a lot of like past friendships and reconnecting with people and a lot of that. And
Yeah.
right now on my screen I have Darcy hanging out with GLaDOS. Yes, this is the post that Matt Brawley retweeted. This is my most popular post ever.
Yeah.
This thing has like 6-7 thousand likes. I don't know.
It's still like really good. Like just seeing these two together is just like a dream come true.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm when in doubt, always add. What? Hang on. Where is that? Do. When in doubt, you should always add halftones. Like I don't know what I'm doing with colors and shadows, but halftones makes it because I've seen a lot of people talking about, man, Darcy and GLaDOS. It would be really fun if they hang out and I choose them having a tea party because that's
It's like
silly.
you know what? Yep, now you can.
Like honestly, I love being artist because I can just draw goofy things if I wanted to.
It's like it's always like really good like that.
Yeah.
Like for a writer, it's kind of like harder because like for me, like I see, for me, like I need like context. If I wanted to just do like a random screenshot, I'm like, okay, I gotta write some background first, and it kind of goes into like this big old like story that I didn't intend to do.
Yeah.
It's like, what is the dynamic of like GLaDOS and Darcy? Like, vote now on your phones, and then I'm like, Snap gonna make a huge story about it.
Oh god, yeah. Cause I'm not much of a writer. Cause I usually like tend to draw what I see. Cause I have trouble like describing things, which I can absolutely like. I am scared of your power, Bork, that you could just be like.
Like writing's really fun. I think it's because like for me, like it's similar to you. Like for me, there's like a lot of visuals in my brain. I don't know if like anyone does this, but like when I like do a lot of like creative projects, like if I close my eyes, I have like a I imagine stuff not in like a 2D or like a very flat dimensional type of way. Like like if I see an apple, I'm gonna see it in like in a cinematic way, like in a movie type of way. Like imagine like an apple on a counter, except like it's like from a shot from like a really like cottagecore type of movie, and there's just like light flittering through like that. That's what I see when I make fics. Like if I'm making a story about Marcy probably like examining like mushrooms or like fighting like different like new bad guys, I'm going to be thinking of it in a cinematic type of way. Pop off with the lighting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually really interesting actually. Um oh, I think I just oh, I should not have eaten that.
Oh
Oh.
no, what have you eaten?
uh cuz like okay, I'm going to admit this. I'm a big Portal 2 fan. So Darcy was not the hardest thing I drew here. Far from it. GLaDOS was super easy to draw because I've drawn
Oh
GLaDOS
my
so many times
god.
already. Like I didn't even have to bring a reference photo. I just knew.
It's like
Um
you knew immediately. Like that's a lot of machinery. The fact that you were able to like draw GLaDOS like
It's actually
easily
really
is just
easy. It's just a lot of squares and circles and a lot of tubes that just connect to nowhere. And you can cheat it by like just if there's like a machinery here, just fill it with black. Just fill it with black. With a huge black
it's like
color.
got it. Yeah, and now it got retweeted by Matt, the Frogman himself.
This is my legacy. This is the only thing that Raleigh knows me for, the person that it's hilarious. But I think that's all the time we have for today, everybody.
All right.
Yeah.
It's like thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like this was like really fun.
Yeah. It is super fun, honestly. And like, oh yeah, did you know I also have a voice changer here? So like,
oh yeah.
Let me bring my soul.
Oh shit. It's like that scared the shit out of me. But yeah, like
I also run a podcast. You can find in Spotify and iTunes and wherever you get your podcast. It's called Archives Unlimited. I talk about baseball. If you don't know anything about baseball, I'm so sorry you won't understand anything about what I'm talking about. But I have an April Fool's episode there where I talk, or we made up a character and we called them Bork Holloway. And yes, I used Bork's name.
Oh my god, I inspired an OC.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can find me on Twitter at HAZELEGIE, which is also the same as my as the YouTube name right here. I'm also at Drifter Soda on Tumblr. And where can people find you, Bork?
You can find borkthemork on Tumblr, and if you really like the idea of reading fics, especially about two gay Asians, go to borkmork on AO3, and you'll be able to see the gay Asians.
Yeah. And man, it's so nice to talk to you again, man. It's been like 3 years.
It's been 3 years. It's nice hanging out again.
Yeah,
and just like talking about Amphibia.
Yeah, because like the last time, actually, I don't think I've ever heard your voice before, to be honest.
Yeah, this is my voice.
Yeah. Like man, it's so long. Steven Universe was 3 years or more than 3 years ago.
Oh
wow.
man, 3 years. Okay, yeah, that's a long time.
It's a long time.
Oh man.
Man, I'd love to do another stream with you one day. Maybe if we do like co-op Stardew Valley.
Ooh, co-op Stardew Valley sounds pretty good. Yeah.
Like maybe I don't know, like next month or like late month today. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But that is all the time we have today, folks. I'm gonna let Bork sleep. Goodbye, everybody. Can we get some Fs in the chat?
Alright, get some Fs in the chat. Maybe even some Ls. Let's do it.
Yeah.
L's for Amphibia, for Amphibia ending.
I remember this. Okay, hang on. One last thing. I remember this one was floating around. That's like, man, I love Anne Boon Choi. Her name is Amphibia.
Her name is Amphibia. Get it straight.
Get it straight. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. It's like, stay not straight.